Well, I mean, you've got one enormous album. You've created sales that no one believed at that stage could be possible, and especially with the combination of the group. You've had major hits off that album. Suddenly, Chrissy, yourself, are two major names around the world. How then did you approach the next album? I mean, like, it wasn't that simple.
We never change. Fleetwood Mac never changes. We go in exactly the same every time. There's always electricity. We don't approach an album, really. We just go in. And Lindsay pretty much, you know, he's pretty much the boss. And,
to go in and do a Rumours album, I mean, like...
But see, we didn't know when we do Rumours that it was... I mean, we all loved it, but we didn't know that it was going to be that big of a record. And we again went right on the road. And like, you know, when you're out there touring, you don't get a subscription to Billboard or Cashbox or Record World. Right. And nobody's really calling you up and telling you, you know. So it's an elitist thing. The band goes on the road and it's like you live in your world of touring. So we're never aware of it.
Yeah, but have you changed since then? I mean, have you changed from the Rhiannon days of being a star and everyone wanting now sort of saying, Stevie Nicks belongs to us, the press say this, television says that. I mean, are you changing at this time? It's not quite the same as like doing the first album, is it?
No, but amazingly enough, only because we're older, is it not the same. It's really very much the same. It was always crazy. Mm. You know, they are wondering right now why I'm here. And I have to go home and work with them, you know. And that's the radical Stevie, you know. She split to Australia.
Was it frightening you as, number one, as an individual, frightening you as a group, secondly, how big this album was becoming? It just...
No, because we never, as I said, we never checked.
You had to be aware.
So for all those weeks that we were on the road and that Rumours was on the charts, once again, nobody got them, you know, we toured for a year, a solid year. And Fleetwood Mac tours for like 8 weeks. Then they take 3.5 weeks off. They tour 8 more weeks. They went to Japan for a year. They went to Australia. I mean, I'm sorry, not Japan for a year. They went to Japan for a month, and then we come to, thank the Lord, Australia for a month. And this is solid. This is no break. And everybody else tours for 3 weeks, and they take 4 weeks off. And it's like, I don't understand this, you know, because I'm from a serious touring band. So we were so busy, Molly, that we didn't really know or really care what the record was doing, because we were walking out, you know, you walk up those stairs every night, and there's, you know, 20,000 people, or 30,000 people, or 50,000 people, or 75,000 people, or 10 people that are there to see you. And it's like, forget it. Everything else doesn't matter, and this is where we most want to be. So no, we're not very aware of what's happening as far as charts go. If you even mention the word single to Lindsay, he'll get angry with you. You know, it's like, don't tell me what a single is, because I don't write singles. And of course, so that rubs off on me from 20 years ago, and also to everybody. It's like, don't tell us to write singles, ever. You know, don't tell Fleetwood Mac to be commercial. Don't tell Stevie Nicks to be commercial. And even Lindsay gets mad at me now. It's like, oh, I'm telling you to be commercial, and I'm going, but nobody told Fleetwood Mac to be commercial. Fleetwood Mac never tried to be commercial, ever.
It is a landmark in rock and roll history. Whether you read charts or not, it is.
A big L.
Right, yes, it is a very big album, right? A lot of great songs, incredible songs, 4 top hits, I won't say singles, that were just massive, right? World tours covering an immense amount of countries, absolutely, you know? Then the Tusk album. Why are you laughing?
Well, just because then the Tusk album, the movie, right, then my eyes are filling up with funny tears. I wish you could have been there for the 13 months of Tusk.
It took so long?
Yeah. And when we moved out of the studio, it looked like It looked like your house, right, that we lived in for 100. We had, I mean, there had to be 350,000 Polaroids, plus stuffed animals hanging upside down, you know, and rabbits, and everything that we all owned. I had yarn and crocheting stuff and paints, and Christine's really an art teacher, right? So, I mean, we have, like, all our art supplies, and we have a digital person that's, I have never understood the whole 13 months why he was there. I called him Mr. Didge. He lived outside the door. For 13 months, we went to the studio every single day at 2 o'clock, and you know that I'm late. And I've been told that sometimes you are late. Well, you are not late for a Fleetwood Mac session. They come and get you and kill you. You know, it's like you don't ever do this again. And so from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was a horrifying time of day to even be up, until 8 or 9 the next morning, and then it's like, let's play. Then it's like, let's jam, let's play blues, you know? It's like, da, 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 and it's like, and you can't leave because you're a part of this band. So Fleetwood Mac would, I mean, and Tusk was like very native, very African. Mick lived in like the jungle in Africa for 5, 6 years of his life, right? And so Mick thinks that he's like a Watusi warrior, and he is. And so this whole record, I mean, I would sit and write for days, you know. It was like the tribe, and like this is the sacred steps back up to the top of this sacred mountain of this jungle kind of thing. And that's what Tusk was. And if you ever really listen to Tusk and listen to it quietly, it's very slow. I listen to it sometimes and I think, these songs are so slow, because it's like Lindsay Sonnet goes, they said I never would recover, and they said I knew you well. It's like everything on Tusk was very, like, warrior-esque.
Right.
And which was probably one of the reasons why 13 months didn't kill us all, because it was so, it's like we kind of went to another kind of world for Tusk. And I think that Tusk is one of those records that someday people will sit down and listen to and understand what it really was, because I didn't even understand what it was. And I think I'm only now, as I listen to it in my own private time, starting to realize that there was a lot more in Tusk that even I didn't see. Don't say that you love me.
Stevie Nicks is now Stevie Nicks, known to the world.
Right.
Well, you are known to the world.
Yeah, okay.
And especially, I mean, for anyone that follows rock and roll, and most people who follow rock and roll, it's basically part of the world in the Western world. The image of Stevie Nicks started to expand beyond belief, because now suddenly video is a huge thing.
And starting with Gypsy, though.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then now, let's get on to Gypsy. Because by now, even though he's a friend of mine, he was one of the pioneers, or major pioneers, of video, and a very talented person.
And also...
Accused also, though, by me, I might say, that he goes over the top.
Well, you know...
said before, you thought it was going to be a disaster.
We did. Because once again, you know, you put 5, it's like I would always think with Buffalo Springfield, you put 5 people, especially that aren't used to ever doing any filming of any kind, in a room and try to tell them what to do, and it's like, I thought this is a disaster, you know. And Russell said to me, this is my film.
Right.
And everybody will do what I say. And the thing is that he came to my house for like 2 hours, and he like looked through my closet, and he looked at my things and my crystal balls and all my stuff that I have. And I thought that he was like going to be like a lot more like, and he wasn't. He never raised his voice to anybody in Fleetwood Mac. He was totally, completely calm. And nobody in Fleetwood Mac ever raised their voice to him.
A brilliant film clip.
A brilliant film clip, which was, for me, like, I wish we could find a producer like Russell, a producer of music like Russell for Fleetwood Mac, because the way he handled those 5 people was so, it was like the best mom in the world, you know, that just handled all 10 of those kids perfect. And that's what he did, and I was amazed. You know, in Gypsy, there's a part where I come around this like lamp post and I look, And you think I'm looking at Mick, right? Because Mick's driving up in the truck. Well, I'm not. I'm looking at Russell. And Russell's like, you know, and then when Mick drives up,
right.
Mick's not just looking at me, Mick's looking at me and Russell, who are both like vibing him, you know. And it's like, and the looks between Mick and I think, are so intense there. But it wasn't just Mick and I, it was Mick and I and Russell. And it was easy.